ये सफर का सख्त मंजर कह के चुप हुए सरवर मैं हूँ हक की मर्जी पर शादमां मेरी ज़ैना छूट रहा है नाना का आस्तां मेरी ज़ैना मोहम्मद और मोहम्मद
दीगर नारे सलावत
अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व आले मुहम्मद बराए खुशूर दिए इमाम ज़माना बुलंद तर सलावत अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व आले मुहम्मद.
I begin in the name of the Almighty Allah, the Beneficial and the Merciful. Praise be to Almighty Allah, who created the universe and the heavens and the earth below. Praise be to Almighty Allah, who created all creatures, big and small, angels and human beings. Peace and blessing be upon Allah's last and the best of His Prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. To whom the Holy Quran was revealed. Peace and blessing be upon the Prophet's beloved daughter, Lady Fatima, and to all the leader of all women, past, present and future. Peace and blessing be upon the 12 true successors of the Holy Prophet, Imam Ali ibn Abu Talib being the first one, and Al-Mahdi being the 12th one. Who is alive, in sight and within our hearts by the command of the Almighty. Mercy and blessing of the Almighty Allah upon all of you. Assalamu alaikum. Today and over the next few days I will be reminding you of the events that took place in Karbala. As well as those events, I will also be discussing the basic principles of what happened, why it happened, and briefly explaining some of the names that we hear, who they are and what role they played in supporting Islam, and also briefly explaining the enemies of Islam. On the land of Karbala, Imam Hussain al-Islam and his companions, his brother Abbas, his son Ali Akbar and Ali Asghar, his nephew Qasim and Muhammad, and 72 people in total bravely sacrificed their lives to save the Islam that we know today. At the time, there was an evil man by the name of Yazid, one who was sworn enemy of the Prophet's family and sworn enemy of Islam. All except one adult in Imam Hussain al-Islam's camp was brutally murdered on the Ashura day in Karbala. After these brutal murders by Yazid's men, Imam Hussain and all the other martyrs' heads were cut off their heads and then put on sticks, and their bodies were trampled by horses. After the death of the Holy Prophet in Islamic year of 11, Islam was in danger of being destroyed by the hypocrites and the rulers of the Islamic Empire who had not adapted Islam in their heart. Although they recited the Kalma, they had not accepted the Holy Prophet of Islam to be the true messenger of the Almighty Allah. They had converted to Islam to safeguard their wealth. Imam Ali al-Islam had to fight several battles against these hypocrites to protect the true principles of Islam. Imam Hassan al-Islam signed a peace treaty with one of the biggest enemies of Islam to protect the true Muslims. However, Imam Hussain al-Islam sacrificed his and his family's lives to save Islam. So 3 different battles took place by 3 great leaders in 3 different ways. One was through battles, one was a peace treaty, and one was a sacrifice. In 3 different ways, 3 wars were fought against 3 very evil people. The 3 people I refer to as these evil people, the first was Abu Sufyan, the grandfather of Yazid. The second enemy was Muawiyah, the father of Yazid, and then Yazid himself. As I have mentioned, the evilness grew like a pyramid. Abu Sufyan was a very evil man, then Muawiyah was much greater, and I would not even know where to start and finish with explaining how bad Yazid was. Yazid was no Muslim, and I promise you, no matter where you read it, no matter where you hear it, he was not a Muslim. He was a sworn enemy of Islam. He wanted to change the kalma to the point where he was even asking people to change it by adding his name onto the end. He was an alcoholic. He was a gambler. He is the type of rulers you see now in the Western world. The people who are totally against Islam. The army of Imam Hussain Islam is still alive today. And when we hear about these 72 people, we all say, I wish that I was one of those members. I wish if I could turn the clocks back, I was there. Well, let me tell you, you have the opportunity, and the opportunity will start today. The challenge we face is, although Yazid is not here, his views and the seed of Yazid still flows through the rivers today. There are many people who drink that water, but we must choose to go against that, and we must choose to remember the events that took place in Karbala. And I referred to the water because the true followers of Islam on those days were not given no water. In this hot heat, when we have hot summer days, we complain about it was so hot today. Can you imagine the temperatures in Karbala? These children were crying for just water. It was so difficult upon them. I will go on briefly today to mention a little bit about Abu Sufyan, and then as the days go by, mention the different evil rulers. Abu Sufyan and his family fought against the Holy Prophet for 20 years. All they did this as they did not want Islam to progress by any means, and they did not want Islam to succeed. Abu Sufyan became Muslim when he had no choice when Mecca was surrounded by the Holy Prophet. After the defeat in Mecca, Muawiyah, the father of Yazid, refused to accept Islam and ran away to Yemen. It was only when the whole of Arabia had converted to Islam that he had no option to accept Islam. Accepting Islam by your tongue is different by accepting it in your heart. During the Holy Prophet's lifetime, Abu Sufyan and his family were stripped of all powers and influences, and therefore had no choice but to quietly follow Islam. Their hearts and minds would never accept Islam. Now, if you imagine that you know somebody who has all the money and was doing so many evil things, when these things were taken away from them, although they had to respect the Holy Prophet, deep down, they were never happy, and they were strengthening their families and their armies to fight against the Holy Prophet and his family. Immediately after the death of the Holy Prophet, the drama that was staged in Saqifa to select and elect the first Khalifa can be said to be the root cause of the tragic event that took place after the Prophet's death. We as Muslims, even today, are so disunited because the majority of us do not find all the final advice of the Holy Prophet, who only acted on the Almighty's orders. He appointed Imam Ali as the divine first Khalifa, and the so-called key Muslims appointed the first Caliphate according to their choice. So I would just like to explain one thing there. The mighty Lord had chosen Imam Ali Islam. However, the humans around had gone against that decision. So straight after the death of our Prophet, people's minds towards Islam had changed, and two groups had already differed. So we had the people